Go on and on now.
I know you're ready, son. I just got to do this.
I'm ready now. Right, what I need you to do now, it's live, Clive. Can you just share it to my page?
Yeah, and I'm going to get it from public.
It's quicker to do that. I've got you. You're right.
I've got to edit public.
I've got you. Don't worry.
It is public. All right.
I'll have to make sure this is turned down. Bang on that. Right, I'm gonna do a bit of sharing, Clive O'Divo.
Share it away, mate.
Anybody who's coming in. Oh no, I don't want to start casting.
So,
stick it on my TV.
How are you today, bud?
I'm good.
How's your day been?
Hello, Ian Piper. Hello, Lisa Marie. Who else we got? There's another 4 or 5 people in there now already.
Yeah,
so I'll say hello to you. I'll say hello to you all now. Yeah. Because I can't do this forever. If you want to chat to Clive to him, you can. I'm going to do some sharing.
All right. How are you all? Yeah. Matt, Heather. Yeah. All right. Evening to everybody. So yeah, please share this out because where I am tonight. All right.
Don't start.
I'm not going to start.
You've got Kleenex next to you.
I've got the toilet roll, like you said.
All right, good man.
All right. So tonight, all right, we were hoping to get somebody on. Hopefully, one of Dave's friends, close friends, will come on. We're going to talk about COVID. But the big thing I want to talk about tonight, and I want to get it out there, is veterans. Not just veterans, everybody in society. There's a lot of people suffering today. There's a lot of people suffering because of mistreatment, ill treatment. Yeah, okay, I've seen some people posting. Dan's in, look. There he is.
Sure, mate. Pick him up then, get him in.
Dan, look, lean back. Dan's lean back.
Fucking look at him. Hey, you're worse. Dan, I want to ask you a question, yeah, before you start. Everybody, this is Dan McDevitt, yeah? He's an absolute blinder, yeah? He does more for veterans than Thumbs Up could do, yeah, if he was awake 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of his life. Yeah, Dan does that in about a week. Plus, he runs a stud with his missus and his security firm and other such things that he does. He's a busy lad. Where are you at the moment, Dan?
I'm sat in a quarantine hotel in London.
The Dorchester.
Loving every minute of it.
Where is it, the Savoy?
It might as well be. What's it called again? The Dorset.
The Dorset.
The Dorset, not the Dorchester.
No, not the Dorchester. I got it wrong overnight. The Dorset.
Yeah. How long you got left in there, Dan?
Well, your first day is not counted. So
what?
Today's day 1.
How come the first day's not counted then?
No matter what time you arrive, your first day is not counted.
Done.
So
they start running the clock from what, midnight the next day?
Yeah, midnight the next day.
So if you arrived at 1 minute past midnight, yeah,
it's not counted
at the hotel. It won't start until midnight the next day.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
Oh, listen, disgusting. That's not the half of it. There's a couple of things I want to run through tonight.
Come on then, Dan.
Come on, Dan.
Come on.
The floor's yours, mate.
Because I'll start, Dan. If you don't, I'm going to start shouting. I've already had it today, so I've had my rant.
The floor's yours, Dan.
These COVID quarantine hotels. So obviously, I do bits and pieces out in Africa, which is on the red list country. I do private contracting and other bits and pieces. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
So I got malaria and tick fever, so I've been having COVID tests left, right, and centre. So I had 3 COVID tests the week before I were going because I were having treatment for that, and then I had my COVID test to fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's hardly any COVID over there. They manage it quite well, to be fair. Give them credit where credit's due. I get back into UK. Right, after having to fill out a passenger locator form, which I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Booking a quarantine hotel, which is £1,750.
Flipping.
You can pick
That's
one.
That's value for money, Dan. That's value for money, mate.
Well, listen to
Central,
this.
Listen, Central London, mate, they're expensive, those gaffs.
Yeah, listen to this. So then you land at Heathrow, and then you get mingled with all these other flights. Yeah.
Oh, people that come in from all over the gaff.
All over the gaff. And you get mingled with them. So if you're COVID free, then there's a chance that you're going to get it off them.
Yeah.
So then they take you through all that. And I agree with quarantine hotel. I'm not against it. You know, we need to keep the country safe.
Yeah.
But it's not being done right.
No.
So then you go in a long queue with loads of different other people through customs, and you get on your allocated bus with a load more people that you've never met. So you're out your bubble again.
Have they not heard the word cross-contamination yet? Not.
Well, obviously not. So then you're out your bubble again.
Yeah.
Then they'll sit you on the coach, take you to your hotel, get to your hotel, and then you start your quarantine. Like I say, day 0, and then it adds up. So you get COVID tests on day 2, and then you get a COVID test on day 8. Now then, let's get down to the hotel and the security. Me being involved in security, let's have a giggle. Right?
Blinder.
So you're here with loads of lads that have been put through their SIA, and I'll say who it is, G4S. What a bag of shit.
Yeah. They're fucking blinders, aren't they? You get those badges free at the fucking dole office.
They must be giving these badges free. This is not my first rodeo in a quarantine hotel.
No.
So you're not allowed to smoke in your room. Your windows don't open. All this. So there's a big long list.
I thought they said we need fresh air. If you're indoors, you need to have your windows open.
Yeah, and yet you can't open your windows. So check this out, right? COVID laws, quarantine hotel. Wear masks, have COVID tests. About 6 of them come through my door this morning. You're smoking. Like having your house raided. You're smoking in your room. We can smell it in corridor. I said, no.
Well, if it's in the corridor, it's in the fucking corridor, you retard.
You've just woke me up, right? So big news, little news. He tries to come in my room. I went, what are you doing? You're breaking COVID laws there, full stop. Get out.
But Dan, he was a lucky man, mate. He was a lucky man.
I did say to him, I said, listen, you're coming here once more, you're going to hospital. So they all back off. I said, listen, if I was smoking in my rooms, your fire alarms would go off. So go away.
Yeah, definitely.
So big dudes, little dudes, then they start riling me now. So now I'm playing with security. So they don't even realise they're being videoed. Do you know what I mean? I've just got a video there today of one of them in his civvies, no mask on, mingling with people that are quarantined and set in a bubble, and yet he's mingling with them, and then he's going out to the general public. Then there's another 2 of them with no masks on, talking, chatting up birds and stuff like that. Talking, they've got the mask down. Others are sat round corner on the phone and having cigarettes and stuff like that, hiding from staff. But before I get down there, I make 3 phone calls. You have to ring your room, ring security and say, listen, can I go for a walk, or I want to have a cigarette? So 3 times I ring, no answer. Right, after an hour, I think, all right, so I open my door. Boom, they're all there, like flies round, you know what.
Oh, man.
I says, I want to go for a cigarette. Well, you've got to wait half an hour. I said, listen, I'm not waiting half an hour. This is not a prison. There's loads of you stood there. One of you can take me down.
Yeah.
Check this out. I go down, right? I counted, and it's on the video, this. I videoed them all.
Yeah.
31 of them stood around.
What?
Twiddling the thumbs.
Someone's earning some dough then.
31 security guard.
So,
can't you get a few of the lads on that?
That's what I was just going to say.
Absolutely. This country is being ripped off left, right, and centre, and so are the people that are coming into quarantine.
Big money in it, mate. Big money.
Yes,
in it. Big money in COVID.
Yes, I agree with the quarantine. But you should be able to. I mean, I live on a farm. I'd have less contact with people than I would in a quarantine hotel.
You're living in the middle of nowhere. I know.
Yeah, check this out.
How many acres do you live in, Dan? How many acres you got?
I've got a few, but listen to this. Then I got a text off NHS today saying, right, you've been identified as risk. You need to quarantine in a quarantine hotel. I've been in it 2 days.
Is that their track and trace?
On that track and trace.
Oh, man.
I've been here 2 days. Last time I was in a
I know people who've been
hotel.
told they've been in contact with people in Scotland. They've not been fucking near it.
Listen to this, Dave. Last time I was in a quarantine hotel, I'd done my day 8 test. I were on day 9, waiting for it to come through to get released from my quarantine prison. I got a text off track and trace saying the flight you was on, blah, de blah, de blah, which was from a red list country, you were sat in the vicinity of somebody who's proven positive for COVID. You will now have to self-isolate. No isolation, in quarantine hotel for 10 days. The system is a load of rubbish.
Cool. Listen, listen, Dan, right? The geezer on the plane. This is what I know how it works. I've got pals down in Marbella. They come backwards and forwards every week. Yeah, they drive through. There's no one at the borders between France. They drive. Yeah, they come on. They drive up into Paris. Get on a Eurostar, come off at St Pancras and drive up to the Midlands. Anyway, every time they've gone, they have all their PCR tests done. They have all their documentation, just in case. You know what I mean? And they're spending fucking money to do that. Big money they're spending to get all those documents for all 4 of them. Right? It comes to a best part of $1,000 by the time we finish.
But look at.
When you do the PCR test to go out, you're negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be. Otherwise, you wouldn't be allowed to go, would you? They'd say, sorry, you're positive, you can't go.
I won't mind, but I've had my vaccination.
So when you come back and do a PCR test, surely you should be negative so you can get on a plane and come back.
Well, you are.
So how's the geezer got on a fucking plane with a positive then?
You have to do. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly.
What, he caught it on the plane mid-flight?
Yeah, we must have done.
Fucking where? So it's at 30,000 feet then. We know it's not at sitting down level, so anything above medium standing up level and 30,000 feet is COVID.
I'll tell you what it is, fellas.
I bet those fucking Martians are going nuts on Mars.
Listen, I'll tell you what it is. It's a very, very clever thought. A very, very clever virus. 66,000 in Wembley. Everyone's walking around without masks on.
Masks on? Yeah.
Been tested, right? 4 times in the last 7 days, or last 10 days. It's a clever virus.
Listen, my lad was in Trafalgar. You know,
I'm beauties.
Isn't they blind?
They are, isn't they?
Lovely,
I tell you what.
They're dogs, mate. Listen, my lad was in Trafalgar Square. Yeah, but he was in the fan zone. He had tickets for that because he had to look after his 2 sisters. Yeah, and you know there was hundreds of thousands in Trafalgar Square, from Parliament Square all the way up, right the way through central London, up through all round by the theatre district, everywhere was rammed with people.
Oh, it's just an absolute farce.
Where's all these bodies piling up then? Where are all the sirens? I've never known London so quiet, even now at night, from sirens. Police, everyone. They're doing absolutely nothing, mate. They're having donuts and tea in the fucking staff room.
It's just an
absolute... It's been like that for 18 months.
It's an absolute farce.
It's the biggest scam ever, because the
UCLH hospital, on Euston Road, is 18 floors. It's a teaching hospital and obviously a working teaching hospital. It's massive. It's fucking massive.
But David,
it's been empty.
Empty, yeah. But David, remember my old man flew to Serbia. My old man he phoned them up. He done exactly the same as what you done, Dan. But what he done on I think it was his 2nd day and his 8th day, he actually he done his tests, and then he went out of the house and he went to the NHS track and trace. And they phoned him and they said to him, they didn't even give him his results from his 2nd day, his first test. And then they turned around and said, oh, we don't accept the results from the NHS. You've got to pay the 150. He paid the £150. And they said, you've got to wait for the track and the results from the company who's doing it. He said, well, I got negative. And they said, no, NHS, we don't listen to that.
Yeah,
Not good enough.
yeah. I've had that before.
And
Oh, have you, Dan?
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
so
I
it
had
is
that.
true then.
I had
Oh,
that
yeah.
last time. But I've also had, I've had my first vaccine, AstraZeneca, and I'm meant to have my second one within 12 weeks. So I've got till, that's why I've come back early, I've got till the 17th.
Yeah.
So I said to these lot here, I've got to have my second jab. No, you have to start it all over again. Won't even let me go for my jab.
What?
You having a laugh? So you got to have 3.
Won't even let me go for my jab. So now
So you'll have to have 3 jabs then.
I'll have to start it all again because these won't let me
No, but
go.
you've had 1. You can't
For a
take that
vaccine.
back. You've had 1.
Yeah, but it's apparently, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but apparently that's going to be nil and void now because I haven't had my other one within 12 weeks.
Listen, Dan, anyone taking the vaccine, good luck to you. I've got no qualms with that.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't,
Dave,
doesn't affect my life.
Yeah, but
listen,
what
Dave,
you've got to remember is, Dave,
Dan's work.
I didn't want the vaccine either.
No.
right?
no, I know why
I'm
you've
not
had it, Dan.
saying, listen, I'm not saying COVID doesn't exist, right?
No, me neither.
It does exist. I mean,
It
I
does.
know I've had family members get it. My cousin's actually a nurse.
Yeah.
She got it. She got over it.
My brother Joe had it last week.
I know other people that have had it, and I've had friends that I serve with where their partners have died. So, yes, it does exist. I'm not denying the fact. But how it's being dealt with is an absolute farce.
But Dan, it's shocking.
It's not Ebola, is it?
No, it's not. Look at that. You
know
what I mean? If we had Ebola running, right? Have you ever been around anywhere in Africa where they've had Ebola? I have.
Oh, of course I have. That's
Of course you have.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
not nice. It's not nice, and you wouldn't want to go near that town that's got it.
No,
because you would be fearful.
It last 2 years. This is why I go quiet on social media, and then I come back and carry on doing what I'm doing with veterans and stuff like that. Because 9 times out of 10 I can't get signal or I'm in the bush.
Yeah.
That's how I got bloody malaria and tick fever.
I'll see you on the beach. I'll see you on the beach the other week.
Listen, you won't want to wish that on anyone. That double whack.
No.
But it does exist. But how it's being handled and these quarantine and these red list countries is
mental.
Do you know what I mean? Look at what's just happened here in England.
They put the fear of life in people.
But but remember
they said, didn't they? Remember they said, listen, the most people at risk are the elderly, and those who are the vulnerable, right? And the biggest risk of the any demographic, is the BAME. Where are all the bodies from the hundreds of thousands of BAME that were at the fucking BLM marches then?
Yeah.
But remember,
within 14 days of those marches, we should have had a pile of bodies somewhere.
But David, remember, look, at the end of the day, COVID is intelligent. It doesn't affect the MPs when they travel. It doesn't affect certain government members. But it affects others.
It only comes to Cornwall once they've left.
Exactly.
Look at the G7. Look at the G7.
The G7. After the G7, right? They were all there doing what they were doing. After the G7, a week later, the COVID rate's gone up.
I won't mention no names, obviously, for what I do. But I look after, we'll just say, a diplomat. Out there. They're flying back. I won't say whether they're male or female. They're flying back in 5 days, and they don't have to quarantine.
No,
because it doesn't affect them. They're very lucky people.
I fly back and have to quarantine.
But you're doing a diplomatic service, aren't you, or not?
Well, I was, but because it's
so surely you should be in the.
I'm meant to be as well, but I mean, I'm doing something for UN as well, but I can't mention on that.
No,
Clive, tell Dan what your dad does for a living.
Rule for another.
Listen, Clive, what does your dad do? What industry does your dad work in?
Oil industry.
He works in the oil industry.
He's exempt.
Are they exempt?
They're supposed to be exempt, the same as you are, Dan.
And he had to go through all the hoops.
we were once. we were exempt at first, but then obviously because I don't put paper to what I do.
Have you seen what's happened to Ibiza and Mallorca and Greece? Have you seen what's happened to them today?
Yeah.
Been taken off the green list. They've only been on it a week, bless them. So all those people that the week before last, when they said it's on the green list, you're all right. You can have your holidays. You've had your double jab. I know Dan's busy. He can't go. You can all go and book your holidays. You can all go. Everyone's gone down there and paid another shed full of money to the travel agents, and now they can't go.
No, that's right.
They can go, but they've got to
isolate for 10 days.
Well, yeah, they've got to have the vaccines, and then they've got to self-quarantine because it's on the amber list when they get back.
That's right.
So they've got to have a 2-week holiday, which is normal, plus another 10 days, which is another 2 weeks nigh on. Yeah. So they've got to have a month off for a fortnight's holiday.
Yeah.
But Dave,
mental.
It's not just that.
No problem.
Hello,
Dave.
Yeah,
I need 2 months off.
Shut up, man. No. You're like an old woman, man. Right. Don't forget, Dave, they go to an amber list. They got to pay money, extra money, because
that's it.
And how many people? This talk
it's
about
a holiday tax.
But Dave. But how many people are suffering today? Uncertainty. Money's the biggest stress. So what's the government really doing? They're squeezing everybody. They're squeezing everything out of everybody.
Listen.
It's been going on now for too long.
A lot. I'll tell you something now, shall I? You're all right. I told you about the financial collapse, Clive.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's
coming.
Already
announced it on TV. They've already announced it on TV. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the inflation on fruit, diesel, everything's going up, and so interest rates are going to go up, so it's going to start crashing again soon.
You lads are a lot younger than me. You won't remember it. I bought my first house.
That's like your granddad.
I tell you what, he's swinging the lantern there, didn't he?
I bought my first house back in the 80s. Yeah. I was in the financial crash of 93. Right. Yeah. That's when negative equity, the word came about in 93.
Yeah, but that's when you were born at 40, so you'll experience it.
There you go.
I tell you,
touchy vision, not smelly vision, touchy vision. Right. So anyway, I can remember all that. Yeah. What's going to happen now? Right. Bearing in mind what the money that's been borrowed, the trillions. Yeah. Not money that's lost, money that's been borrowed, and they're now asking for it back from lots of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
That all the money that's been washed around, and people have got furlough, and fuckers won't go back to work now because they've been at home for 18 months and getting paid, and they're only on 80% now, but they still won't get up and go and do a day's work because they're getting paid for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've joined the long-term unemployed now. It's going to be a financial bloodbath.
Oh, it's going to get worse.
It's going to get much worse.
Listen, anybody with a few quid, do yourself a favour, cancel your jacuzzi, cancel the new car, and hold on to it because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. Food's already going up.
Well, packaging's going down. Food's going up. Yeah. What's it like in Africa, Dan? Financially, are they? We know what it's like anyway because we've been there, we worked there. But is it worse now?
What? I feel so sorry for him out there in Africa because the world market and the financial market are just squeezing them, and inflation is gone through the roof.
Yeah. I like that bit.
It's not good. You know what I mean? And then you've got China manipulating Africa and saying, "We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll do this." Yeah. And the vaccine's not much cop, and basically they're just manipulating them. And yet,
they bought Mombasa Port in Kenya.
Listen, the Chinese out there, what they're doing in Africa is they should be trialed.
They resources. They just resource.
I've been doing business in Africa for over 2 decades, Dan. Yeah,
Africa's one of the richest nations going. That rich in commodities. Yeah, but they're just being
they get right for them. Yeah, I know.
And Great Britain and UK, I'll tell you what, it's shooting itself in the foot there. We were part of the colonies. We come away from it. Africa, a lot of African countries got their independence, and China has just stepped in and manipulated them, and Great Britain and America are sanctioning countries that shouldn't be sanctioned rather than taking them back under the wing, because that's another thing that affects the UK. We used to get a lot of commodities there, and the infrastructure and everything like that. It worked for both countries. Now the China are just there manipulating it, and what it's doing is it's giving China a closer foothold to us.
Definitely.
They beat the government. They built a government centre in a said country. I won't say too much. And they actually bugged the life out of it just so they can listen to all the African nations, listen to the UK and listen to America as it grows closer. So, you know,
they've become cash rich, China. They're cash rich.
Yeah, well, 50 years ago they had nothing.
Do you remember Neil Hamilton?
This country's going, and they're up there now, and they're just manipulating Africa, and it's not on.
But don't forget, don't
stop it.
But don't forget, China, Russia, they've come together with the petro yen, which is gold backed. They're bringing in the digital currency. They're going to try and take over the currency. US dollars floating out, and China has been robbing the resources by, we build this road for you, we'll build that infrastructure for you. Give us your resources.
100% right, and it's not that the inflation and the interest rates that they're putting on it.
Yeah.
The countries just can't afford to pay it back.
No.
So they then take it as sovereign land, and then just make money hand over fist. Because
that's what they've done in Kenya with Mombasa Port.
Yeah, China can't sustain itself, so it's now looking into Africa just to sustain its own country. But what it's doing, as a superpower, it's giving a further grip. And people might say, hold on a minute, why are they talking about China and why are they talking about Africa and all that?
Yeah, it's doing a land grab.
Because listen, that's where this coronavirus started.
Yeah,
I know.
If you look at the world markets and everything like that, they crushed it and took over everything.
Everything.
Trump said that. He got called out for it.
Yeah,
Dan, you're spot on. And this one person I think about when we talk about Africa. We talk about Africa and the wealth of Africa. And there's one person who you probably know quite a bit about. And Gaddafi, mate. Gaddafi. He was taken because he was going to trade his oil for gold. He wanted one state. He wanted the Africa to become one country. So the biggest problem you had, they didn't want that. The Middle East and the world didn't want Africa to become one.
The thing is with Africa, it's got everything.
Yeah.
And it's been manipulated. And
it's a beautiful country, isn't it? It's a beautiful continent,
fantastic.
isn't it?
Fantastic.
And the people are lovely.
Yeah, but it's been manipulated and abused by the Western world and other places for so long, and just all the commodities took. It's like when you just said there about the US dollar. Yeah, every financial status or currency, for example, the dollar, the pound, the yen, it all has to be backed by a commodity. And that commodity is either gold or diamonds, and perhaps other commodities in the central banking systems. But the gold that comes out of Africa, I mean, the Americans
and the diamonds.
Yeah, the Americans are hypocrites. Dick Cheney flies a military plane in there once a month for $10 million on it, and then takes it all out with gold back to America.
But look at Tony Blair, Sierra Leone.
Tony Blair deserves and should be in prison.
Exactly, Dan.
Should have been in the Hague decades ago.
Listen, it's all right for all these other countries where they say, they've brought human rights, they've done this, they've done that. Yeah. And then they send the G20 after them, and then they answer to the Hague, and the boys go in and get them and extract them. And yet, you know, they do war crimes and everything, and they go to prison for it. Our prime ministers do war crimes and get
away.
Get knighted. Get knighted.
Get knighted and then write books about it. The man should answer to his crimes in the
crimes.
End. And I'm not the only veteran that says that.
Yeah, and I tell you what,
Tony Blair,
Dan, you're one of us, mate. You say it as it is. I know you don't put up with some of the bollocks, but you say it. You've always said it as it is.
Dan, I done a
Do you
run.
remember, do you remember Neil Hamilton?
Yeah, I've met Neil Hamilton. I've actually.
He's all right. He's a nice fella. He's one of us. Trust me. Right. Well, Neil Hamilton last night, Clive, was on Voice of Wales.
Right. Blood.
And
Yeah.
Neil Hamilton said exactly what I've been saying for fucking decades.
Decades.
Yeah? When we had the British Empire, and we was running Africa, India, and all those other nations.
All the Commonwealth,
all the Commonwealth. When we were running, but particularly India and Africa, particularly those two continents, they were very well, and they were run very well, and the people did very well out of it. The minute we pulled out and said, "Here, you can have it back," the people that became in charge fucking raped everything.
Everything, they did. And look,
so you can't blame the
on that, Dave, there's a lot more to me.
Of course there is.
Yeah, it was part of the British Commonwealth, but listen, we did wrong by them countries as well.
Did we ever?
Of course we did. It wasn't perfect.
What happened in India, what happened in Africa, with apartheid and stuff like that, it was wrong.
We weren't perfect. We weren't perfect.
We weren't perfect. But the only thing that bettered in them nations was the infrastructure and the connection.
Yes.
But if we grew on that connection, and we, harnessed it as a friendship, then
imagine what they'd be like today in 2021.
The UK would be a lot better off, and Africa would be a lot better off.
Yeah, of course they would.
Whereas at the minute, they're just being raped and pillaged.
Yeah.
But who am I?
Who buy? Who buy?
Chinese mainly.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan,
and they're allowing it. They're allowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace, but
that's why I get the ump with all these people who jump on the BLM bandwagon with what you did when you had the empire, you fucking white people and all that. Mate, go and have a look at it now. Do yourself a favour, get on a fucking plane, go over and have a look.
It's not about that, do you know what I mean? And a lot of them people, listen, I mean, my sister's daughter, my mum's half native Indian and that. So I'm not into all that racist.
Not into that, mate.
No, my ex-girlfriend is Tanzanian. Half Tanzanian, half English. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying there is that Black Lives Matter. I have my opinions on that as well, and I think there's some decent lads in it. Don't get me wrong, but they're again being manipulated by a
division. But division.
Dad, you always get good and bad everywhere, mate.
In everything.
Yeah.
And what we can't do, fellas, is no matter what organisation we belong to or what organisation we're a part of, we can't let these power-driven, hungry people drive a divide. And make it all about. I mean, like that football match. I absolutely rabid that them lads missed that goals.
Yeah.
And I thought myself personally, do you know what I mean? It was. I think they were just.
He hadn't been on 2 minutes, Dan.
Yeah.
Bless him.
But listen, it's not about the colour of his skin.
No.
They got us to that tournament, and all them people that put them racist comments and stuff like that. Today in Parliament, it's just been announced. Listen, if I had my way, I'll tell you now, you wouldn't just be getting banned from football, from life.
You'd be against the wall, mate. You're against the wall, mate.
Listen, I have no tolerance for it at all.
No, me neither.
Dan, let's be honest about this, Dan. Them guys, wait there. Hey, wait there.
No, go on.
I'll mute you again.
Go on.
Dan, let's look at it. Them guys, all right. Everybody, it's always the same thing that goes on in the football. You get through the qualifier, you get to a semi, you got to the semi, and everybody's expectations went up in the air. Football's coming home, and then they already had won the game before they even got there. The pressure's on them guys getting on the field. You know what pressure's like, Dan. You've been there. You people put pressure on you.
Them lads did a fantastic
job. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And the pressure, the amount of pressure that they were under, plus 3 at world's best strikers, man. They might only be kids, but I'll tell you what, 3 at world's best strikers. It's
how
gone
many
to
people
the head of pressure. But fair play to him.
Yeah.
Out of Joe Public, though, yeah, which is what it's all about at the end. It's about Joe Public at the end, yeah. Out of Joe Public, how many people were actually involved and got involved, either watched it, went to London, went to different bars down in towns and all that?
The millions.
Right, the numbers that have been given out, I've looked at it all because I do all that sort of stuff. I love a bit of research. The numbers been given out are between 32 and 44 million.
Yeah.
Right? So listen, let's take the lowest number, 32 million. Let's say it's only 32 million that got involved, was sat at home or went to the clubs or whatever, watched it online, whatever they did, yeah. Went to Wembley Way and Trafalgar Square and Leicester Square and all that lot, yeah. Out of all those 32 million, yeah, they're saying there was about 10,000 racist comments.
And I'll tell you now,
out of 32 fucking million people, there's a minuscule amount of backward fucking half-wit retards. Minuscule that need putting up against the wall and fucking slotted.
And let me tell you now, right? There won't be football supporters.
But why feed those fellas and put them on the news 24/7? Racist. It's all going wrong. It's all going wrong.
They're just creating further divide.
Divide.
Now, Dave. Right? I know near enough every football firm in this country.
I know you do from the DFLA.
Yeah, and listen, right? Absolute fantastic bunch of lads. They class the Stugs and all that, and I'll tell you what,
they've been with us, Dan, and they out on the street.
I've never heard so much bullshit on how them lads get labelled. And not one of them people that I've met, right, has got a racist bone in their bodies.
No.
And they won't stand for it either. And
when they come with us, Dan, how many of them get arrested?
None. We've never had any arrests.
When there's 20, 30,000 of us.
Listen, we shot London, right, for 14 hours with 80,000.
How many got arrested, Dan?
Not one arrest, right? Not one arrest.
So they're not all fucking backward retards, are they?
It's like you were saying before, Dave, right?
Yeah.
There is that small minority. And I'll tell you what, they won't belong to them supporters clubs. They'll be infiltrators.
No, of course they won't. Of course they won't. They wouldn't even show their faces. Dan, listen, when one of them tries to step out of line, which you do get retards when they come.
Yeah, you get them there.
What happens when one of them steps out of line when there's 30 or 40,000 of us?
They get pulled back in line.
Yeah, definitely.
They get told to fucking jog on or fucking liven up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But like you said, some people know there's a divide because the government. Dan will understand this comment I'll put out there because Dan would have viewed this comment definitely. It's not in the public interest. It's not in the government interest.
No,
we're going to do this because it's not in the government interest, and that's it. It's
they
divide.
Want to see us killing each other. They want to see us killing each other. I'm telling you now.
I wouldn't put it so much down to government. Listen, I'm one of them. No. I might get a lot of things now and everything like that. I wouldn't put it down too much to government.
No,
I put it down to what we call the kingmakers or the string pullers.
Yes, definitely. Yes,
100%.
It's powerful businessmen that have got their onset. They've got their minds. They've got their visions. And they're the ones that try to manipulate government and manipulate power.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's them.
The ones who are telling Boris what he can and can't do.
But David, be quiet for a minute. Go on, Dan.
There's more to it than meets the eye. Yeah. I mean, due to my background and everything like that, I served when Tony Blair was Prime Minister. I didn't like the man, but at the end of the day, I had an oath of allegiance to Queen and country. Yeah. But after he left, tell you what, charge him, do him, because he's no longer Prime Minister, you know what I mean? He didn't do what right, he was Bush's lapdog. So you can't really put it on government.
No, government
can only do so much, and they're guarded by a lot of people
in the background.
Yeah, in the background by and I'm talking very powerful people.
Yeah.
So you need to open your eyes, people, and you can't just throw it all on government. Shit sticks, as they say.
Yeah,
it's the people behind the scenes. I mean, look at the left wing with George Soros and all that lot. Yeah, he's not a politician. He's just one of the up there with the world's richest men. And he's behind a lot of the actual links when you go into research, it's just absolute madness. You know, for normal common people like ourselves, it just makes the mind boggle.
Yeah.
Cool.
But what we can't do, and I just want to say this to whoever's watching, yeah, is you can't let these people create further divide. Right?
No,
just because I've got tattoos and a skinhead, right, it doesn't mean to say I'm a neo-Nazi. No. And just because I fight for veterans' rights, it doesn't mean to say I'm a right-wing thug. And just because I'm attached to the DFLA and I don't believe in child molesting and rapes and that, doesn't mean to say I'm a knobhead off the street and an hooligan. People need to stop tarring people with the same brush, and they need to open their eyes to everything. There's good and bad in a lot of these organisations. And what you've got to do is you've got to take your rose-coloured glasses off and listen to people's opinions. Because listen, we're not always right, fellas.
No,
right?
No. And we say that all the time. It's purely an opinion, Dan.
Yeah, some of the stuff that the opposition or whatever like that, I think, bloody hell, that's a good point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not happy to listen.
There's right and wrong in everybody, and we cannot let everything that's gone on with this football, the Black Lives Matter, all these protests and everything like that. And I go out and protest myself. Yeah.
I know you do. I've been with you, Dan.
We're not there to create divide.
But Dan,
we're not there to create the
biggest thing I say is everybody's got an opinion. Don't place expectations on anybody. There's a golden nugget in everybody's opinion. We've all got different opinions because of our experience and knowledge where we gained that. And my biggest thing I'm pushing out there at the moment is a lot of people have got a message. A lot of people have said enough is enough. I've attacked a few MPs because I'm trying to hold them to account because they promised to do something and they promised to reach out and contact somebody. It only takes 2 minutes. I understand where you were coming from straight away, Dan. I look at Davos and places, and I look at I worked in the Middle East for a very influential family, so I learnt some of that areas. But what I say to people today is, if you've all got a message, everybody needs to stand shoulder to shoulder. Everybody needs to come together and stop fighting each other, stop the divide. And the thing against me, don't look at the book, the cover of the book, look at the person inside, because it's easy to judge people, Dan. I know straight away, just sitting here with you, and I've spoke to Dave. Mate, a lot of the football guys are just like that. We're all the same. We're all passionate. We all want the best for everybody.
A lot of them have served.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, right? Let me tell you something now. I'll tell you the exact problem now.
Yeah.
Right? It's communication.
Yeah. Big time.
Because, and that's the biggest letdown in life, whether it be in business, relationships, protests, politics, everything, is communication. The thing about politics is a lot of them are spin doctors and can't lie straight in bed. And they'll just spin it and they'll use terminology that just baffles the general public and go, oh, what they're on about there? And before you know it, they've spun it and they've put it back onto somebody else. Listen, them politicians, I won't trust them as far as I could throw them. And I have dealt with them. No. Theresa May made us a promise, the veteran world. Yeah. She said she would stop the prosecutions, right? Yeah. And we spoke to her for years and years and years. I was involved in writing a white paper for the House of Lords and the House of Commons, me and my admin teams, and we put together basically a new Armed Forces Covenant.
Yeah.
Right? And we put it together as white paper to go through the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Yeah. And we did that quiet with a couple of lords I know that I've worked with. And she come to us and she said, listen, not direct, but how it were. And then she did the deal with Stormont. So on let me get my dates right now, 19th of May, 2019, I threatened to shut the country, and me and other veteran leaders, we shut 9 cities at 11 o'clock with 450,000 veterans. That's the first time we come out in force. Normally it'd been the football lad. We shut Belfast, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham, London, and a couple of other. Cardiff was one as well.
Yeah,
I remember it.
And she started to listen. And then obviously all the elections, Brexit and all that lot come, and Boris Johnson, we were talking to him indirectly again, and he said, I promise I'll stop the prosecutions, right?
Yeah.
We put the white paper through, and none of us got credit for it. An MP got credit for it, which we're not bothered about because we got the votes. And the law got changed. In fairness, I'll hold my hand up. He had a lot of shit to deal with, and the law did get changed, which we were happy about. We all took part in it. And a veteran, if they do, a military serving personnel, if he does something wrong, and it's not investigated by the SIB or the powers that be within the first 2 years, squashed, done, can't be anything done with it. And that's when I had a bit of I never really bothered with Johnny Mercer because he wasn't playing ball.
No.
In fact, I didn't even get to speak to him. You know, it was one of them. I got brushed off, and you can speak to me.
Spoke to him on the 8th of May, funny enough.
And
I spoke to him. Yeah, I spoke to him.
Listen, I tried, and do you know what I mean? I was one at first to start this movement. I mean, I'm the founder of Veterans Against Terrorism, the founder against Veterans for Veterans. I work alongside Chris Moulton, Nicola Batty on a Million Veterans March. We're very close with Robin Horsfield. In fact, they wanted me to speak, but because of what I do overseas and that, I couldn't be a part of the Northern Ireland Assembly to help get all this sorted with veterans. So Robin Horsfield stepped up to the plate. Absolute fantastic fella.
Yeah.
And what he's done for veterans as well. Do you know what I mean?
I tell you, Dan,
Phil Campion, other people that I'll tell you what, you'll be surprised how many leading veterans out there have
Dean
done
Cumberbatch.
so much. Do you know what I mean? They've done so much for the veteran movement.
But Dan, what I'm going to say is, I've called out quite a few of them, and I'll tell you why. On the 18th of May,
out a few as well.
On the 18th of May, it was 18th of May, Dave. We got a 8th of May. We got a guy.
Rolling Thunder in London.
We had Rolling Thunder in London. And I actually turned around and I think it was a guy called Rag actually turned around and said, well, we've been doing Rolling Thunder and none of the families have contacted us from Northern Ireland veterans and none of the families have said thank you for us. And I called him out, so I got removed from Rolling Thunder. So I still turned up and we put these IVIS vests on because the veteran on the side, he was hounded by the child maintenance services. He was paying them, and there was fictitious arrears put on. And his father is a 25-year veteran. He's now trying to fight for justice for his kid.
27 years. They've done 43 years.
27. So Gavin took his own life 3rd of July last year, and everybody's ignored Ian. So I went there with Dave, and I said, put IVIS vests on. We put that on the back. And I called out Johnny Mercer. And when I called out Johnny Mercer, and I said, Johnny, what about this veteran?
Live on camera.
Who's killed himself. What have you done to his father? You haven't even acknowledged his father. We call him up Thumbs Up Mercer now. But on that day, there was a lot of speeches given. And I've got big respect for Phil Campion, definitely. I do respect him, but when people stand up and say enough is actually, when we pointed out about the suicides, what did we get told, Dave?
Not today, not now.
We're not discussing that today.
Not today.
We're here for the veterans of Northern Ireland. We're not here for veterans committing suicide.
We can only discuss one topic.
So I said, right, okay. So I went to Johnny Mercer. Johnny Mercer promised to contact the father who'd sent him emails he ignored, the phone numbers he ignored, and he's promised to phone him within the week, and he didn't even phone him, mate.
He's still waiting for the call.
Still waiting for the call.
In fairness now, do you know what I mean? I thought it was just a bit of a bloater and stuff like that, but I'll give him credit where credit's due. He stepped up to plate, and what you've got to remember is, fellas, right? And this is where, do you know what I mean? I do say it as it is, and I'm open to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see where you're coming from about the suicides, and listen, I'm 100% passionate about that. I mean, my missus watches my group, and one day she woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, "Listen, you better get your horse to Manchester. One of your lads is going to jump off a bridge." I went, "What?" Right? And that's because she were on 4-watch, and she's a civvy. She don't really get involved in it all.
Yeah.
But when you're there on these demos, fellas, I don't mean to sound horrible, and to all you other veterans out there, when we're planning something and we're doing something, and you think we're not listening to you, it's not the case. Yeah. But we have to stay on track. So if we're there for that demo and we're fighting that demo, we can't dilute it.
No.
Yeah. Because as soon as you start diluting it, you're basically ripping yourself apart from the inside. Yeah. You've got to keep your focus on your mission, right? Yeah. You've got to keep your method of operation online, right? Your tactics have to stay in place. And yes, it needs addressing, and yes, it needs dealing with. And that's where I strongly believe a veteran committee needs to be formed that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Works alongside resettlement centres.
Yeah.
It works alongside the British Legion. I think the British Legion.
Can we get that going, Dan? Can we get that going?
We've tried umpteen times and it seems to fall on deaf ears.
Let's have another crack at it.
It needs people in there that have been there, seen it, done it.
Done it.
Yeah, there's no point sitting with a shrink that's 21-year-old, fresh out of uni, that hasn't got a clue in life and tell me what's wrong, love. Yeah. And then you're telling us stuff that she's seen on TV and you're turning her stomach inside out. It doesn't work.
No.
Did you hear? Let me just. Sorry to interject, Dan. Did you hear what the head of? Listen, it was on Trevor's video today, Clive. Did you hear what the head of intensive care said today? The head of intensive care of the NHS. Did you hear what he said today?
No.
It's twice as traumatic to work in an ICU, an intensive care unit, than it is to be on the front line.
Do you know what? Listen, this is going to shock you as well. Yeah, you're not a duckhead, David. Right? I wouldn't want to work in an ICU.
I wouldn't. Right? I wouldn't. Definitely.
Listen. How many bullets do they have flying around there then? How many legs get blown off? How many heads get blown off?
Dave, stop. Dave, stop.
How many of the nurses stood next to each other gets their heads blown out?
Dave.
Yeah, but it's not about that, right? No. PTSD is everything. You imagine seeing a child that's coming there from an RTA.
Yeah, but it's not twice as fucking bad, Dan.
Do you know what I mean? But
please,
when listen, I've been to Bosnia, I've done Northern Ireland, right? I've seen my mates shot, I've seen my mates blown up. One of my mates there has got lost both his legs and can hardly use one of his arms, Rick Clem. He's an inspiration, right? And we've been on the front line, but we're not the only ones to get PTSD, Dave.
No, definitely not.
No, I understand that. Listen, you can get PTSD, a civvy can get it.
Terminology. It's the terminology and how it's put over. Yeah. But you can't.
He shouldn't be making an amount
to them. Because I wouldn't want to work in an ICU.
No, neither would I. But
I don't mind. I've worked Dave, hang on.
Go on.
Look, mental health. It's a label. All right. I agree with you. He shouldn't compare a war zone but they're in their own war zone. That ICU is a war zone of his own because they deal. Yeah, but hang on, they're dealing with death. They're dealing with emotion families. They're dealing with their emotions are being triggered all the time. They're like that. When we look, you can't compare it to combat zone.
Dealing with that death. When they finish dealing with that death, though, Clive. No, fuck off. When they finish dealing with that death, what do they do, Clive? What do they do? What do they do, Clive? Where do they go when they finish their fucking shit?
But Dave,
what do they do when they get home? They have their fucking dinner and a cup of tea and watch fucking Crossroads. So don't fucking give me that bollock.
Dave, they bottle it up exactly the same. Dave, and hang on.
I must admit,
they don't go fucking back out in another fucking 4 hours time.
We live for that, you dickhead. We live for that, you dickhead. We live for that.
This is where we can have the opinions and the banter and go with it.
Fucking arsehole. Sorry, wrong side. Arsehole fucking cavalry, mate.
David,
fucking hell, mate.
David, don't forget. I control. Who's controlling? Who's controlling?
But
I'm getting a set of them fucking buttons.
but listen, to bring it back on a serious note, them in an RCU,
Dan.
listen, you've got to give them credit where credit's due.
Oh,
yeah.
100%, $1,000,000%.
Yeah, you have.
One thing I would like to mention
it's
as
a
well,
thankless task.
I'll tell you what, I'm a strong believer in giving credit where credit's due.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's go on to these Northern Ireland veterans. So
Yeah.
today it's been announced in Parliament that the prosecution of Northern Ireland veterans is going to be stopped. Yeah, I haven't got the full information on it yet.
Yeah.
I've only just heard.
I put it out this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll wait for the powers to be that give me the information on it, and then we'll read through it. And a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, but everyone's been let off with it all and all this and all that. Listen, the terrorists were released on the Good Friday Agreement, so you know, open your eyes. We've got to take it as a win.
The past is the past. We can't change it.
I don't believe. I personally, Dan, I know you got a different opinion, but I personally don't believe it will stop until they open up what was put in the Good Friday Agreement, and they signed that up and sealed it up for 100 years, mate.
Well,
that's the problem we've got. Is they've got to open up that Good Friday Agreement, mate.
Yeah, all right, let Dan have a say. Let Dan have a say then. Go on, Dan, have your say.
What you've got to remember is as well, I don't think it's also going to stop, because obviously when these prosecutions run, you had all the ambulance chasers.
Yeah, definitely.
And all them lawyers, so them families are still going to be suing for them families. Listen, war is not a nice place, you know what I mean? There's casualties on both sides, and people have to live with it. But I was listening to Trevor Colt today, and he come up with a very, very good idea. Yeah. So this isn't my idea, and I'm going to give him credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Yes, these prosecutions now, it's going to go through law. The papers are going to have to be passed through the House of Commons and the House of Lords before it can be put in law. So it's going to take a few months. But we're not going to stand down and stop until it's signed, sealed and delivered.
No,
but also, then, like Trevor says, the problem we've got then is these ambulance chasers. So what you've got to remember is, and don't quote me on these exact figures, Trevor will be able to tell you exactly, over 1,600 British soldiers died in the province. Right?
I watched it.
Yeah. So what we need to be doing now is them families, and we don't normally bring up the past.
No.
But what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Good for the gander.
So
definitely.
What we need to do now is we need to find a law firm that's going to stand by veterans. And help us sue Sinn Féin. So obviously Sinn Féin is a political party, a recognised political party.
Let's go.
And was obviously linked to or had ties with a said organisation. So if all these police ambulance chasers and everything like that is happening there, why can't we do that in turn to Sinn Féin?
To Sinn Féin, definitely.
And then, you know, we either let bygones be bygones. Or,
call it a day.
If compensation's being paid, which is a fair one, right? And you can't blame them families of them people that were killed, right? It's not their fault.
Wanting some sort of justice, no.
It's not their fault what went on, right? No. At the end of the day, there's two sides to a story. They've got their beliefs, we've got our beliefs, and that's what creates wars. You know, difference of opinion.
But the other thing is as well, a lot of people don't realise, unless you can leave the history behind, and we can move on forward together, it'll still be there, lingering there, and we still have problems.
Learn a lesson from it and move on.
Move on. But again, when we look at it, Dan, we've got to look at what's going on with that. What we got to look at that point is
it going off at 9, Clive?
It ain't. No, it's not going off at 9. I've just dropped it. So
all right.
A lot of people got to understand. I don't know what's going on. Something's just go. Hang on, you still here, but it's it's jumped on something else. Anyway, what people got to understand is the history there is Bosnia, that kicked off because of the history, and people were killing their next door neighbours. People were killing people because of the religion, because of
I were in Mechanicsgrad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did Bosnia, and I went to a place called Mechanicsgrad, and then we were at an outpost, a place called Amici.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the hill, we had a Serbian family, and then at the top of the hill, we had a Muslim family. And he'd slaughtered all his livestock and everything, and put his children underneath it just so they didn't get executed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And bloody hell, we were digging up mass graves. I remember Willie Wilson in Mechanicsgrad digging up mass graves, and it stunk. And what you're saying there is you're totally right. Do you know what I mean? And it's that conflict of interest and them opinions, because a difference of opinion creates debate. Yeah. Debate then creates confrontation. Confrontation then creates wars, because people just can't sit down. It
becomes
and talk.
Violent. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Violent. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the way of the human being and the nature of the human being. We're a cruel race. And then you throw in the mix power and control and money, and shit hits the fan.
Dan, I played chess with a Serbian interpreter in '96, and I remember him saying, he was in his 70s, and I remember him saying to me, World War III will start in Europe, in the UK. And I went, what? Get out of here. I said, piss off. And he went, Clive, you'll have so many people going into that country, into the UK. He said, he said, something will happen, you'll kick off. And he said, you'll have so many different religions, so many different cultures. He said, it'll fire up in your country. And he said, it's going to come in the years to come. And I was like, get out of here.
You know Northern Ireland, Clive?
Yeah.
You know where my missus is from, don't you?
No.
You know Lisa's Irish.
Yeah.
Her dad's from Belfast, bless his cock socks. He's away. And her mum's from Dublin. Lisa's Irish at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And she was born in London. She's fucking Irish.
Yeah.
Being born in a barn don't make you a fucking horse. You understand?
No, it doesn't.
She's half Northern and half Southern Irish. Right?
Yeah.
She went home just before the COVID. Yeah, to visit her family.
Yeah, listen, it's a beautiful country. I spent a long time out there. I was there for the bomb and everything.
I've spent years out there. You know the religion in Northern Ireland, the problems that they got with the Catholics and the Protestants. Right? Yeah. What do you think's going to happen now? They've got fucking 400,000 Muslims out there.
Well,
we're not even going to comment on that one.
I've got nothing against Muslims. I've got nothing against them, but they couldn't get on with fucking Protestants and Catholics.
I don't know. See, listen, I don't know, right? I have a lot of Muslim friends. Listen,
Dan, like I said before,
listen, you need to show up and listen.
Dave, shut up, man!
But what I know a fair bit about it, and it's like you've just hit the nail on the head there, Dave. Yeah, there's good and bad in everyone. But let me tell you now, that radical Islam, they even come down on their own people. And because it states in the Quran, them that don't follow the Quran to the T, they're called moderate Muslims, or hypocrites. Yeah. But who gives two hoots about race, religion, colour and creed?
I'm an atheist. Do you think I'm bothered about religion?
Open us all up. We all bleed red.
Yes, and we all breathe the same. But
the problem is, right, is it's hard enough fighting the powers that be.
Yeah, without fighting.
You know what I mean? Why would you want to be a sheep? Get on and live your life in humanity. There's only one race, and that's the fucking human race.
It's a human race. Yeah.
Right? But Dan, the biggest thing is, and I know you think this way. I know Dave think this way. I say to people, I haven't got a religion anymore. I don't believe in the religion anymore. My religion is respect those like I like to be respecting myself. Yeah. It's absolutely respect the next person like you like to be respect yourself. Don't do harm to them, because you don't want harm done to you. I've had enough of. I say to people, I've got no left wing, I've got no right wing. We were in the army. We didn't know what left wing, right wing was. That's all we know is a straight road. We've got to follow that straight road. We haven't you know.
When I was in the army, you weren't allowed to be politically affiliated.
No, and that's...
No, your votes were done by proxy by your parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to.
Exactly how I
if
was.
you started fucking walking around camp going Labour, Labour, or Conservative, like the officers would, wouldn't they? They'd be going Conservative. We'd be going Labour, Labour. You weren't allowed to because they didn't want division in. They didn't want division in their battalions. That's why.
But David, they won the division now because the powers to be. If they've got division, they've got control. Do you know how much and that's all they're doing now.
That's do you know what? Right, control. Division creates chaos.
Yes.
And believe it or not, chaos creates control.
Control.
Right, because when all this chaos and all this shit kicks off, they've got to step up to the plate, and put in control. And there's no need for it. Do you know what I mean? No. Listen. If we're all the same, the world would be a boring place. We're all individuals, right? We're all different shapes, sizes, and looks, and colours, and religions, and everything else. That's life. Do you know what I mean? But life's hard enough as it is. We have some power-hungry prick sitting behind his desk somewhere thinking, do you know what? I'll just cause this shit here because I could just do with this sorting, and I want control on this, and I want... Do you know what I mean? It's like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, all that lot. There was a certain banking system that was not in them countries, right? There was no weapons of mass destruction in fucking Iraq. Stop talking shit.
Definitely.
Do you know, Dan,
we were basically America's fucking puppets, and we've only just finished paying it off. I think this year.
They've just published the figures, in America. They've just released the figures of how much they were spending a day. Bombing the place with guns and bullets. $760 million a day. A fucking day.
David, what you got to understand, there was money being flown into Iraq. And Dan may know this. Dan, where did the Home Guard go on the second? The first time we went in, we had the Home Guard in the 90s. The second time we went in, where was the Home Guard? They were flown out to Africa. They sat in Africa. Who's back in power today? The Home Guard. And they're giving this.
You know what I mean? When you go into it all and everything people say about conspiracy theories and stuff like that, it's. I don't really want to comment on it.
No, I don't want you. I don't want you to comment. But
you see that,
people need to wake up.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's my governor's book. That's my governor's book. Yeah, Cameron Spence. His name's not Cameron Spence. His name's Trevor, but I'm not going to tell you his last name.
It's his pseudonym.
And he doesn't live in the United Kingdom. He retired a long time ago. Yeah. And he's the one who's, do you remember in the Sun newspaper, the wife was getting knocked off by the local MP?
Yeah.
That was him. That was his missus, right? And I've worked with him for a number of years, right?
Dad's face sees everything up there. Look.
They were the first lot in there, and he earned a fortune out of it. A fortune.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, right?
And that's what it always comes down to. Is the pounds, the shillings, and the pence.
It's above our pay grade, Dave. It's above our pay grade.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah, of course it is.
We can have an opinion on it. It all comes
down to money.
You know, we've got a few topics there that we've covered tonight.
Have we ever?
Haven't we?
And hopefully things are going in the right direction.
Stay safe.
Yes, Grandad.
I just want to show you something because I know you're in your accommodation, and you know it's all nice there and it's lovely. And it's $1,700.
Look at the TV. Oh, flat TV. Where's he gone?
Do you know what? It's not a bad gaff, to be fair.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dad. I can't get over it. 1,750. Do you get a cleaner?
You put your bed sheets out.
My accommodation. You're allowed £500 a month for 31 days.
Yeah? Fucking hell, Dave. Shut up for a minute. Dan was talking. Shut up for a minute.
Sorry, mate.
Go on, Dan.
Go on.
It's you get your bedding changed on your third day, and you're allowed 7 items of clothes washed in your duration while you're here.
7 items.
7 items. At least you get chocolate brownies.
Does a pair of socks count as 2 items?
Yeah, it counts as 3 with you.
I know. I have a big sock in the middle. Dan, I pay £500 a month. I've got to do my own washing, but I can do as much as I like. There's no limit. Yeah. And I'm just about to cook one of these, mate.
Oh, look at me.
Look at that.
Oh, get now.
I'll tell you what, in fairness, the food's not been too bad.
Has it been good, is it?
Yeah, food's been all right.
Can you select what you want, or have you got to eat what they give you?
No, you get a menu with 3 different choices on it.
Oh, that's
what was that last one like, Dan? The one previous that you was in?
Food in there was terrible. It was stone cold.
Oh, no,
where was that? Where was it?
I saw you eating it on the bed. You was going mental.
Last one I did before this one were holidaying at Heathrow.
Bloody. Oh, mate. Is that where the round one?
No.
No, they had a round one.
With a big car park at back.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I went past there the other day and watched. I was watching people walking.
This one, hotel, fantastic, but the exercise area, terrible. Security aren't much cop.
No.
They think the prison wardens.
But definitely, we covered a lot tonight.
Well, when you're out, Dan, me and Clive, when I eventually get him actually fucking doing some work, during the day I'm talking about, we'll come up. We've got to come up your way,
You don't need to work, you. What are you talking about? You don't need to work. You charge Prudential 160.
That's why I was busy this afternoon. I just give them their bill, 1,150 quid.
But hang on, Dave.
Do you know who phoned me today?
Nat West.
No, I got a phone call from their press department. I got a phone call and an email now from Free's press department.
What are they asking?
Because I told them that I've got the videos and I've live streamed them and all that, and they said, "Oh my god," they're like, "Oh my god." I said, "It's going to fucking go mental."
They've offered him a job as a PR consultant.
I know. Just send the check. Fuck the work. Just send.
But Dave, hang on. Are you still going for Nat West after they put you in the mental health ward?
Oh yeah. Keith's still getting it in the neck, mate. Bless him.
I haven't. You need to do a video on Keith, mate.
I will do. I'll do one on Keith in the next couple of days.
In the next couple of days, all right? Definitely.
Because I do need to get back onto him.
Yeah, definitely. So, that's where we are today, all right? Everybody out there, we love you all. For those who don't love us, do yourselves a favour, folks,
get on Veterans for Veterans. That's Veterans, the number 4. We don't waste letters, we don't. Not like Clive with S's and all that.
I've not even advertised myself. Cheers,
for Veterans. I know, because you don't do it, Dan. You don't push it. But you don't have to, do you? You're well fucking sorted. You know what I mean? How many's on Veterans for Veterans now, Dan?
I think it's 29,000.
Bloody hell. That's good.
That's not all veterans. There's a lot of civilians on there.
Civilians.
No. 90% veterans.
Are they? Excellent.
But there's still a lot of civilians, isn't it? 10%.
Yeah. But definitely, Dan, thank you for what you're doing,
There's always jobs on there as well.
But thank you for what you're doing to the veterans community, mate, because
I'll just add a little bit about Veterans for Veterans. Basically, there's a set organisation that not everybody appears with, and no, I'm not part of it, and that's the Stonemasons.
Yeah.
I just looked at their procedures and their principles, and I thought, do you know what? Follow a similar thing to the military. I'm going to try and apply their principles, put it in, and it's just gone on leaps and bounds.
Well,
last year, up to press, we've homed 13 veterans.
Brilliant.
Over 700, I think it's 700 veterans in the 4 or 5 years it's been going. I've got jobs out of it.
Yeah.
We're into double figures on the veterans that we've saved lives for.
Yeah.
And then just the normal banter or the help that's there. The amount of favours that have been done is astronomical. You know, veterans just helping each other out.
And I think that's the thing, Dan.
Yeah. We've got to see when you're in the military, right? You're under a cap badge.
Yeah.
You've got that camaraderie. You know, you're part of a team. And when you come out, it's like, you know, you've lost that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what it's designed to do is try and give that sense of belonging back. Whether you were a lieutenant colonel, a brigadier, a lance jack, SF, CP,
Yeah.
Recce, ordnance, signals, you know, plastic infantry with rockets, you know, everyone's welcome.
But Dan, you've just said it. You're giving them infrastructure. You're giving them back. Because a lot of guys who come out and a lot of women, they go through a relationship breakout when they get out, and then all of a sudden they lost. They need that. They need that structure. You know, people forget. We're told what to do. We follow the orders the day before. We know our plans. We know where we're going. We know what we're doing. And a lot of times, a lot of us, unfortunately, a lot of us joined the army to run away from not run away, but to better ourselves and get better. And then when we come out, we start thinking we're not good enough. This in the conversation starts beating us up. And you need people to have banter with. You need people like, and that's the big thing.
If I joined the army because of my old man. And do you know what? I don't really talk enough about him, right? Yeah. But Google him.
Yeah.
And I'm proper proud of him.
Yeah.
My dad, and if it weren't for my dad sending me into army, I were a pads brat. So I've lived all over the world. Both my mother and father served.
Yeah.
But my dad's one of 5 of the longest serving soldiers in history. 49 years.
What's your dad's name? What's your dad's name, Dan?
I'll tell everyone in here. Frank McDevitt. 49 years. It's either 47 or 49 years military service full time.
Bloody hell.
That's a stretch, isn't it?
As a PSI, joined as a boy soldier, did a war in Borneo. He got his MBE for it and all that lot.
Yeah.
So,
bloody hell.
I've met the Queen and Prince Charles with him and whatnot in Buckingham Palace, and you know, it started off as a chef, one of them courses that nobody's ever passed. But yeah, he's a little Glaswegian fella, and I'll tell you what, really, everything I've got and done, you know, I owe to my parents really for my upbringing, and especially for my dad for getting me to go into the military. Yeah, otherwise I'd have just ended up in prison, me.
And I think a lot of us are the same.
My dad died last year, right? And that's the first picture of him in the front cover.
There you go.
You know, brilliant.
You know what I mean? All my family have served. Royal Navy. I've got Royal Navy. I've got Marines. I've got Royal Air Force. My nephew did 8 years RAF. He only came out a couple of years ago.
I'm proud of my old man. He served. Yeah. He served in Borstal, a prison. For robbing.
I nearly went there when I was 19.
If I had signed up, I'd be with fucking Charles Bronson now doing a
I'm telling you. But my old man, we sat in a cafe the other day, and he was sitting in a cafe, and there was a guy in there, and he turned around. We got talking, and the old man's talking away, and the guy overheard my old man say, "Yeah, Clive, when I was," because he never talked to me about it, and he said, "When I was in Borstal," he said, "Look," he said, "when I done my time," he said, he's 72, it's made me who I am today," he said. "Now I look back, I'm proud of it. It's the first time I've ever sat down." And the guy sitting across from him turned around, he went, "Oh, I was there 10 years after you were there." And they started sharing stories. And I tell you what, I was looking at the old man, I was thinking, and I said to my old man, because my mother and father separated, and everybody in the family said, "You're going to turn out like your old man, you're going to turn out like your old man." And I said to the old man, "I'd be proud to turn out like you." You know what I mean?
You know why he turned out well, though, Clive, didn't you?
Go on.
It's because those places, funny enough, a few of my pals went to detention centre, and then they still didn't behave themselves. They did Borstal. After Borstal, that was enough for them. They didn't want to go to the big house. You know
that's right.
Yeah, because
those detention centres and Borstals were structured.
Dan, you're going to tell him to shut up, mate, because he won't come up for the breath, but
I know what he's going to say, because that's what I was going to say. They were structured. You did bed blocks. You had to fucking have your gear in good order. You had to turn up in good order.
But Dave,
these places now, Feltham, they tell the screws to go and fuck themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that
We've got Sky Television and mobile phones.
exactly. But look,
If you'd have told,
Dave,
listen, if your dad had told one of those blokes, Clive, to go and fuck himself.
oh yeah,
Back
oh,
then.
your man said to me, he said, I can remember crying my eyes out in the cell.
Yeah,
He said,
yeah.
and the one night I had to turn around and give a guy a hiding. He said, so people wouldn't pick on him. He said, look, I learned how the jungle worked. He said, this is how you're going to survive. You're going to, and he said,
But you couldn't
abuse
the officers, could you?
No, you couldn't.
Abuse the officers.
No, and as we said,
filled in.
people worked for the officers. People worked for the officers to fill people in. But if you go back,
people done round the side of the canister
Exactly.
with an SLR.
Yeah.
Down the side of the head, mate. Crack. Liven up.
You didn't have SLR when you served.
You served? No, 303. 303. Rogues drift, but let me tell you.
Say them solos over there.
I bet you've still got your ammo boots and your putties from trenches, haven't you?
Still got your parties.
I tell you what.
Listen, fellas.
When you're available sometime, see this.
We'll send you some Jack Reacher.
I'm going to send you some coffee home. Yeah, we do this one. Have you heard of Jack Reacher?
I have now, yeah.
Oh, because you're always away. Do you know a geezer called Lee Charles?
No.
Oh, here we
He's
go.
going to get his book
now. He's got to get his book now, Phil. It's Tom Cruise.
I think this is the 19th book.
No, it's 26th, Dave.
Oh, 26th book. There you go. So it's 26th book.
I thought you were good with English. I'm dyslexic. He's written all wrong.
He's written.
Oh, is it written? Is it not wrong?
You can say,
it's wrought, isn't it?
You can say, no, I wrote some books. He's written some books.
I just wanted one of your English lessons.
No. Yeah, I know you did.
You give Mustafa today from Prudential.
Fucking, yeah, good luck, mate. Yeah. Loquacious, Dan. Loquacious.
Yeah, what's that? What's that outside your window there? Is that seagulls pecking on it?
Yeah.
You can at least close windows so we weren't hearing all them birds.
I've got fucking dog biscuits down here, look. I feed them fucking dog biscuits. I had a pigeon today. I'd put some on the windowsill. I spilt some crumbs on the sill. The cunt come in the fucking house.
I were laughing made off today, that poor fella.
Oh, man.
Bless him.
I tell you what.
He's going. You know what he's doing, don't you? His next job, will be back on the fucking food stands in the fucking street.
Listen, fellas. Right, it's been a pleasure, but I've really got to go. I'm proper busy here, mate.
I know you are. Anyway, you've got fucking Sky. So what? Have you got Sky TV, Dad?
Yeah, I've got Sky TV. Yeah.
Oh, have you?
I could look. Sky Television.
Oh, hey, look, man.
He's trying to get onto the fucking pool.
What's he watching? Hang on, what's he watching there? He's watching Naked Attraction. No, he's watching Naked. He's watching Naked Attraction.
I'll tell you what, how can I be watching Naked Attraction when I'm talking for an hour and 23 minutes? I'll tell you what I was watching. I was watching that Below Deck.
Whatever gets you going, Dan.
Bloody hell.
Anyway,
but Dan,
I've not seen telly like this one here.
I know. Yeah, you normally don't get time, do you?
It's a good job I weren't in Navy because it's blokes on at the minute.
We know what you were watching, son.
Everybody loves a sailor.
Look, Dan, you might as well come clean now, mate. Tell the missus now.
The thing is, Dan, if you'd have done
up on a string.
If you'd have served RAF, you'd be used to all this. What you're doing now.
Well, all that flying.
Yeah. But if you'd have been RAF, they check in those gaffs all the time.
They do, yeah. Well, yeah. So, look.
I could have been in rockets with RAF. I'm a
You
rock
fancy
here.
guarding you fancy guarding a perimeter of a fucking airfield, did you?
No, I'm alright, thanks.
So, on that note, should we bring it to an end?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got
right.
fucking loads to do.
There's proper fucking making my ears bleed now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
good,
let's say goodnight to everybody. Stay on, Dan. Let's say goodnight to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Don't forget.
Good night.
We love you.
all. And if you don't love me, fucking stick this up your pipe. I still love you. Yeah.
Look after yourselves. All right.
Thanks for having us. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.